Okay, so remember, like, back in the day when you were a kid
Mm-hmm.
and it was summertime
Yep.
and you'd be in bed and the wind would be open, you'd hear the crickets.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the world was just quiet and waiting for something to happen.
Right.
And that's kind of the feeling I get about the 90s.
Okay.
Like everything was just pre-cell phone, pre-social media,
Mm-hmm.
and the world just felt like a little bigger,
Yeah.
a little more
A
mysterious.
little more mysterious, yeah.
So tonight we're diving into 3 listener tales from back then
Okay.
that we pulled from Morbid's Listener Tales episodes.
Yeah.
And these stories are really something else.
Really?
I mean, stranger than fiction, really.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Heck.
How these, like, stories are kind of like a time capsule. You know, we get to hear directly from people who were there before, like, everything had to be online.
Right.
It really makes you wonder how many other stories are out there that we'll never hear.
Exactly.
Because, you know, they never made it to a tweet or a TikTok video.
Exactly. So tonight we're going to be talking about a terrifying camping encounter in Canada.
Oh, wow.
A home invasion by a guy claiming to be Jesus in California.
Oh, no.
And a series of UFO sightings in Michigan
Wow, this is a good one.
that had a whole neighborhood buzzing.
I'm ready.
Are you ready to go back in time?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Let's start with story 1.
Okay.
The reason I hate camping.
Okay.
It takes place in Kitchener, Ontario in 1999.
Okay.
2 sisters, Erin and Cassandra,
Okay.
or Kat,
Mm-hmm.
decided to camp out in a field near their home with some friends.
Okay.
Now, these were latchkey kids.
Right.
They were used to roaming the neighborhood after school.
Right. Their mom didn't even think twice about it.
Right.
It was just a different time, wasn't it?
It really was.
Kids had so much freedom.
Yeah, it seems crazy now, right?
It does.
Yeah.
You wouldn't let your kids just run around like that.
Especially not camp out by themselves.
No.
But it's important to remember that about this story, that they were latchkey kids.
Right.
Helps us understand the story better.
Right.
You know, it was at the time when kids were more independent. They had to figure things out on their own.
Without adults hovering all the time.
Exactly.
Which, as we'll see,
Yeah.
can sometimes lead to some pretty scary situations.
Right.
So picture this.
Okay.
These kids are in their tent,
Yeah.
feeling all safe and sound.
Mm-hmm.
They even put a diary lock on the zipper for protection.
A diary
Isn't that
lock.
Cute. The little ones.
Oh.
But then they start hearing weird sounds outside,
Okay.
like rustling leaves,
Yeah.
twigs snapping.
Oh, that's creepy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And then things get really weird.
Oh, no. What happens?
A butcher knife appears in the tent's rain cover.
Wah.
Yeah. And then they hear a voice whispering,
Oh, my God.
"Here, kitty, kitty, kitty."
That's
I
terrifying.
know, it gives me chills just thinking about it.
Yeah, that image of the diary lock, which is like
Oh.
so innocent and childish.
Yeah.
And then a butcher knife.
I know.
It's like their little world just got shattered.
Yeah. It shows how quickly things can change.
From carefree to terrifying in an instant.
Exactly.
Ah,
It's like something out of a horror movie.
totally.
And it gets even worse.
Worse.
The man starts shaking the tent
Oh, God.
and poking them with the knife.
With the knife.
Yeah, not hard enough to hurt them,
Oh.
but enough to scare them.
Oh, my God.
They're just frozen in fear, whimpering in the dark, hoping he'll go away.
That's awful.
It is.
I bet that felt like forever.
I know.
Just trapped in there not knowing what's going to happen.
Right.
It's like a primal fear, isn't it?
It is.
Being trapped in the dark with something dangerous outside.
And the fact that they never told anyone about it for years.
Really?
Yeah.
That says a lot.
I know. It makes you think about all the untold stories out there.
Yeah.
All the things people keep bottled up inside.
Because they're afraid to talk about it.
Or because they don't think anyone will believe them.
It's sad. Makes you wonder how many stories we're missing out on.
Yeah.
But it also shows that just because someone tells a story doesn't mean it's the whole truth.
Okay.
You know, memories can be tricky
Right.
and people can be biased.
Right.
So it's important to remember that.
Yeah. To think about the bigger picture and
Exactly.
the context, like
Yeah.
what was going on in society at the time.
Right.
It all plays a role.
It does.
It makes me think about the idea of security theater.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like that diary lock.
Mm-hmm.
It made them feel safe,
Right.
but it didn't actually protect them.
No, it couldn't stop a real threat.
Exactly.
It's a good reminder that sometimes
Yeah.
the things we think are keeping us safe
Right.
aren't really doing anything.
And that can be dangerous.
Especially when you don't know what you're up against.
Right.
It's like a false sense of security.
Exactly.
Okay, so imagine this. You're 8 years old.
Yeah.
You're homesick with the flu. You're all cozy on the couch. And you wake up, and there's a mountain man staring at you through the window.
No way.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to our next storyteller.
Okay.
Danny, she lived in an A-frame house in the woods
This is peaceful.
with her hippie parents.
Okay, so like free spirits.
Exactly.
Yep.
And this guy with a long beard and an army jacket,
Okay.
he starts tapping on the glass.
Oh, no.
Tries a doorknob. It's unlocked.
Of course it is. It was a different time.
It really was.
Nobody locked their doors.
People trusted each other more back then.
Yeah.
I guess that's the trade-off.
Right.
More security, but less trust.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is. So what happens next?
This mountain man.
Yeah.
He walks right into the house. He just walks in, spreads his arms wide,
Oh, no.
and says, "Don't be afraid, child. I am Jesus. You must follow me."
What?
Yeah, talk about a weird home invasion.
Right.
It's almost funny.
It is kind of.
But imagine being that little girl,
I know.
sick and scared, and then Jesus walks in.
I know. It's crazy.
So what do they do?
Well, Danny's parents,
Okay.
Danny with a Y
Okay.
and Elaine,
Mm-hmm.
they come running down the stairs
Okay.
because they hear her screaming.
Right.
Get this!
What?
They're both pantsless.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Wow.
It's like something out of a movie.
I know.
But it shows how different things were back then.
Okay.
Like, people were more comfortable with nudity.
Actually hippies.
Right.
It's just funny to picture.
I know, right?
So there's this guy claiming to be Jesus.
Right?
And Danny's parents are standing there
Yeah.
with no pants on.
What a scene.
It's wild.
So what happens next?
Well, Danny's dad,
Okay.
he grabs a broom,
A broom.
yeah, and shoves it into Jesus's gut,
Oh, my God.
tells him to get out.
Wow.
And then Danny's sister comes out,
Okay.
wrapped in a sheet,
Why a sheet?
because she sleeps naked too.
Of course.
And she starts yelling at the guy too.
This is too much.
It's like a comedy of errors,
It is.
but with a dangerous intruder, right?
It makes you think about how people react to danger.
Yeah.
Like, do you fight or do you run away?
Or grab a broom.
Or grab a broom?
It's interesting to compare this dad
Yeah.
to the dad in the camping story.
Right.
He was totally oblivious.
Yeah, he didn't even know there was a problem.
But Danny's dad,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't hesitate.
He went straight for the broom.
They're so different.
I guess it just shows that there's no right way to react.
Yeah, it depends on the person and the situation.
Exactly.
So what happens to Jesus?
Well, he doesn't stick around.
Okay.
He goes to a neighbor's house.
What?
Breaks in, trashes the place,
Oh,
steals their car, crashes it into a bar.
you're kidding me.
Hype.
This guy's on a rampage.
He is.
What happens at the bar?
He goes inside,
Okay.
demands a beer and a game of pool,
Seriously.
and then finally he gets arrested.
Finally.
It's like a one-man crime spree.
All because he thought he was Jesus.
It's funny, but it's also kind of sad.
Yeah.
This guy obviously needed help.
Right.
It's a good thing nobody got hurt.
It could have been a lot worse.
It could have.
But wait, there's more.
More.
Years later,
Yeah.
Danny's mom runs into this guy at a festival,
No way.
and she makes him apologize to Danny.
For breaking into their house?
Yeah, for scaring her when she was a kid.
Wow, that's interesting.
It is.
It makes you think about forgiveness
Yeah, and accountability.
and the long-term effects of trauma.
Right.
Like, did that apology really mean anything?
And was it right to force him to apologize?
After all those years?
It's complicated.
It is.
It's not a simple story of good versus evil.
Right. There's a lot of gray area,
Yeah,
which makes it even more interesting.
it does. All right, so last but not least, we've got UFOs.
Ooh. I love a good UFO story.
Everyone does.
There's just something about them.
I know. It's like they tap into our sense of wonder.
Yeah. And our fear, too.
Exactly.
Like, what's really out there?
Right.
Are we alone?
So this story takes place in a small town in Michigan
Okay.
back in the summer of 1995.
Pre-internet.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So people couldn't just Google it.
Exactly.
They had to rely on what they saw and heard.
And what their neighbors told them.
Right.
So it all starts with a guy named Joe.
Okay.
He and his daughter are bringing in groceries
Mm-hmm.
when they see 3 orange lights hovering over their cornfield.
No way.
Yeah, just sitting there, about 100 feet in the air.
Wow.
And then they slowly move south and disappear.
Classic UFO behavior.
I know, right?
Silent, motionless light.
Like they're observing us.
Or maybe they're just curious.
Who knows?
It's the not knowing that's so intriguing.
Exactly.
Keeps us guessing.
So a week later,
Yeah.
the narrator's father and uncle,
Oh, okay.
they see the lights too.
Over the cornfield again?
No, this time it's over the woods.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they just watch them hover silently,
And then what?
then they vanish.
Spooky.
But here's the weird part. When they pull into the uncle's driveway,
Mm-hmm.
the lights reappear.
This time over the barn.
Yeah.
It's like they're following them.
I know it's creepy, right?
Very creepy.
And then things start to get really weird.
What how
The whole neighborhood starts experiencing strange electrical problems.
really?
Yeah, lights flickering, TVs going crazy.
Oh, wow.
Phones emitting loud static.
That's so weird.
It is.
It's like something's messing with their electronics.
And it's not just that.
What else?
The animals start acting strange, too.
Oh, like they can sense something?
Exactly, like they know something's up.
That's classic UFO lore, isn't it?
It is.
Like animals are more sensitive to those kinds of things?
Mm-hmm. They pick up on things we don't.
It makes you wonder what they were sensing.
I know, it's pretty freaky.
So what happens next?
Well, one family,
Yeah.
they report that their house was hit with a blinding spotlight.
From the UFO?
Yeah. And then the lights disappeared.
Wow, that's intense.
It is.
It's not just lights in the sky anymore.
Right? It's like you're making contact.
Or maybe it was a warning. Who knows? It's kind of scary,
It is.
but also exciting.
Yeah.
It's like we're getting a glimpse of something beyond our understanding.
Exactly.
But then what happens?
That's it.
What do you mean?
The sightings just stop.
They just stop.
Yep.
No explanation.
Nope.
That's so frustrating.
It is.
But also kind of perfect.
How so?
It leaves us with more questions than answers.
Yeah,
It keeps the mystery alive.
it does.
And it makes you think.
About
Or we don't know.
the universe
Yeah. And our place in it.
and the possibility that we're not alone.
Right.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But that's what makes these stories so great. They make us question everything.
And they remind us that there's still so much out there to discover.
Exactly.
So what do you think?
About all these stories.
Yeah. Are they just tall tales?
Or is there something more to them?
Something we can't explain.
Maybe we'll never know.
Maybe that's the point.
To keep us wondering.
And searching
Exactly.
for answers.
That's what makes life interesting, right?
Absolutely.
The unknown.
The mysteries.
The things that go bump in the night.
That's what keeps us going.
I think you're right.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today.
All right.
I know it goes by fast.
It does.
But we'll be back next week with more strange and fascinating stories.
I can't wait.
So until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.